when appearance is so important that it determines whether a child's future becomes bright or dim. Not everyone is born with an evil nature, but social prejudices and misunderstandings from people around them can push people to the edge. Come watch the movie Wicked with me. Famous in North America with Asian actors Michelle Yeoh and the pop princess Ariana Grande, this film tells the untold story of the Wicked Witch of the West today. Following the classic 1939 film, the scene recreates the poppy fields and the beautiful yellow brick road leading into the distant Emerald City. The little citizens of Munchkinland gather together to welcome the good-natured witch, Glinda, who flew to town in a bubble as a means of transportation. She wanted to share the good news with everyone that the evil Wester witch had died. The Munchkin people cheered and danced in celebration because they no longer had to live in days of anxiety and fear. Glinda also joined her subjects in singing. Then she was asked by a curious little girl about the relationship between her and the evil witch. From here, untold stories and secrets are revealed. Malena is the wife of the wealthy governor Frexbar. In the dark night, he went out to tend to his duties. He was a devoted man who loved his wife with all his heart. But he didn't know that his wife had been unfaithful. Every time Frexbar left home on business, Malena always met a mysterious stranger, sharing a bottle of something green to drink. The result of Malena's secret affair was a child. The husband didn't know his wife had been with another man and immediately returned to witness the birth. Contrary to the joy parents should have, the governor and his wife panicked as if they had witnessed something very terrible. Their baby was born with unusual green skin. Everyone was in a panic, and the people assisting the birth couldn't help but be scared. The governor immediately rejected the baby because he thought it was a monster. That green-skinned baby also had a terrible power that blew all objects to the ceiling. The mother had no choice but to quickly take the baby away. But looking at the cute baby, looking at her and giggling, the mother couldn't bear it, so she raised the girl and named her Elphaba. Later, Elphaba also had a half-sister from another mother named Nesseros, who would later become the Wicked Witch of the East. With her unusual appearance, Elphaba was always teased and ostracized by her family and people around her. Every day, Elphaba could only play with her sister. Every time someone dared to bully Nesseros, Elphaba used her special powers to protect her. Experiencing a difficult childhood, Elphaba still had a gentle personality and did not blame the people around her for treating her badly. The people of Munchkinland made a giant dummy of the Wicked Witch and brought it to the town square so that Glinda could burn it herself. People gathered around the burning fire, cheering and dancing. The image of the evil witch was officially taken down, and they completed the rituals for the celebration. Glinda was about to wrap herself in soap bubbles and leave when a woman rushed forward and asked Glinda if she and the Wicked Witch were once friends. Glinda did not deny her past and admitted that she and Elphaba were once close friends and studied together at the same school. The good witch immediately reminisced about the old times between her and the evil witch. Many years ago, she went to Shiz University to enroll. At that time, Glinda was a beautiful and elegant lady from a wealthy family whose parents doted on her. Since she was a child, she had been a lover of Barbie dolls, loved pink, and hated lies. As soon as she entered school, Glinda was proactively befriended by a guy named Boke. Elphaba also went to school with the purpose of taking care of her younger sister in a wheelchair. Elphaba and Glinda had their first encounter. In contrast to the pretty blonde girl with an optimistic personality that everyone loved, Elphaba again received cold, judgmental looks from everyone around her. Initially, the two's relationship was not very good. Glinda and Elphaba even quarreled in front of everyone just because of disagreements. There's nothing worse than when your father doesn't bother to defend you at all and only cares about your sister. He also brought out a souvenir, a pair of ruby slippers, to give to Nesseros. Elphaba didn't say anything, but she was very hurt. Being the eldest child in the family is very difficult. The governor kissed his daughter goodbye and did not forget to remind Elphaba to take good care of Nesseros. The ceremony to welcome new students to school officially took place. Elphaba sat alone and isolated while Glinda was surrounded by friends. The students stood up and applauded to welcome the school. Nesseros looked around and fell in love with Boke. Headmistress Madame Morrible stood on the podium and spoke about the school and the subjects it teaches. Everyone would also be arranged to live together in dormitory rooms. When the notice board was posted, Glinda was shocked to see she had to share a dorm room with Elphaba. Dissatisfied, Glinda went to ask the headmistress to reschedule, but she did not agree, because it was the school's decision. Everyone was excited, and so was Nesseros. She looked forward to the opportunity to be with others and make friends. A roommate took it upon herself to take Nesseros out without Elphaba's permission. The two had an argument, and her friend insisted on taking Nesseros away. That agitated Elphaba. She released her hidden energy uncontrollably just to bring her sister's wheelchair back. In an instant, all objects were damaged and the room was turned into a mess. The other students panicked and ran away. Everyone avoided her, thinking Elphaba was a monster. Nesseros walked away, blaming Elphaba for losing her chance to mingle with everyone. Witnessing the incident, Headmistress Morrible decided to tutor Elphaba to learn more magic. Glinda also wanted attention from Morrible, but she didn't even want to look at her and only cared about Elphaba. Glinda stood still for 5 seconds in shock before she was taken back to her room by 2 of her friends. Morrible asked about Elphaba's power, knowing that it was very difficult to control and that once it broke out, bad things could happen. Morrible encouraged Elphaba to practice good control of her powers so she could work with the great and powerful Wizard of Oz, the person Elphaba had always idolized as a child through images in books. Morrible also promised a bright future for Elphaba if she studied hard. Elphaba could not hide her extreme joy, looking forward to a good future waiting for her ahead. Now she didn't just come here for the sole purpose of taking care of her sister, but she must also try to prove herself to everyone. Having endured all the gossip and words from others, Elphaba still maintained her inherent faith and optimism. This unusual green appearance could not hinder her on her path to conquering herself to work with the great wizard. Even though there was no one around to share her feelings with, Elphaba still didn't feel sad. She liked the feeling of being alone and free, without having to worry about receiving judgmental looks from others. After going to clear her mind, she returned to the dormitory. Glinda was there first. Appearing friendly and lovely, she invited Elphaba into the room, but in reality, she was jealous of her because Headmistress Morrible only paid attention to Elphaba, not her. Glinda was even more outrageous when she rearranged the room with everything in solid pink. She only left a small space behind to dry clothes as a sleeping place for Elphaba. Elphaba immediately took off all the pink covers and moved Glinda's clothes and belongings aside. Only when Glinda was too pushy and always forcing her did Elphaba unleash her power to break through the glass door, much to Glinda's stunned surprise. That night, both wrote in their diaries, loudly complaining about the other's annoying personality. Glinda loved pink so much that she had to turn on a pink nightlight when she went to bed. Elphaba felt uncomfortable and couldn't sleep. She destroyed Glinda's pink lamp and turned on her own nightlight. By morning, Glinda had added a pile of pink things to the bedroom. Elphaba also did not forget to retaliate. When Glinda returned from going out, the room became a mess again. With her sunny and lovely looks, many classmates sided with Glinda. As for Elphaba, even though she was alone, she was not afraid of anyone bullying her. From then on, their relationship was just endless competition and jealousy. From fighting over studying to competing for seats, Elphaba always got the better of the other girl. During history class, they were taught by a goat, Professor Dillamond. Prehistoric animals had intelligence equal to humans but faced discrimination from the students, especially Glinda, who didn't have much sympathy for the teacher. Only Elphaba understood because she was also a person ostracized by society. Dillamond started the lesson using a projection screen. However, someone defamed the teacher as an animal through bad words written on the board. No one was willing to admit their mistake. The professor was extremely disappointed in his students. After the whole class left, Elphaba stayed to comfort Mr. Dillamond. She advised him not to be sad because she was also estranged from everyone and didn't have any friends. The professor began to have sympathy for the girl, who was unusual looking but knew how to understand other people's thoughts. Elphaba attended Morrible's magical training. Her mission was to control a clock. However, because she was too hot-tempered, she was once again unable to control her strength and broke the glass door in the room. Later that day, Elphaba sneaked along with the professor to an old house far from the school. She heard a conversation between the professor and some other animals talking about overthrowing humans because they no longer respected animals and always mistreated them. Elphaba was discovered. Mr. Dillamond told her that animals who could talk like him were losing their rights. On her way back, Elphaba was nearly hit by a man on a horse. His name was Fyro, a rebellious prince. He wasn't afraid of her appearance at all. Fyro proactively apologized and offered her a ride, but Elphaba didn't need to, and she could go back to school by herself. Glinda read the news that a handsome prince was about to come to school to learn. Quick as the wind, she rushed into the room to retouch her beauty and prepare for a date. The next day, Prince Fyro came to school with a masculine appearance. He became the center of attention for the girls. Glinda snatched a book from her friend, pretending to use her beautiful sunny appearance to attract Fyro. The guy also quickly noticed and was caught by Glinda's charm. She also pretended that she knew a lot about books, which interested Fyro, because he also loved books. The first step in the plan was completed. Glinda took the handsome guy to the library to begin her next strategy to make him fall in love with her. The two met a guy with curly hair who was not happy about Fyro's appearance because he had a crush on Glinda from before. To thank everyone at school for welcoming him so enthusiastically, Fyro willingly spent a large amount of money to arrange a dance to celebrate his arrival and invited all the other students to attend. He was also eager to invite Elphaba, paying no attention to those who thought the party was too luxurious. Been turned down by Glinda, Bach agreed immediately after she invited him to the ball. He also invited Nessarose as requested by Glinda. Unfortunately, Nessarose had a crush on the curly-haired guy, so she agreed right away. Nessarose eagerly invited Elphaba to go with her. At first, she wasn't very interested, but after seeing her sister's joy, she also agreed to go. This arrangement was actually made by Glinda and her friends. Glinda had prepared a messy outfit and an ugly witch's hat that she wanted to give to Elphaba to humiliate her in front of the crowd. When Elphaba returned to her room, Glinda gave her the witch's hat and encouraged Elphaba to choose whatever outfit she liked and be herself. Everyone was excited to come to the party, while Elphaba remained at home thinking for a long time. She decided to go find Headmistress Morrible at night. The official party took place, and everyone began to join in and dance. Glinda walked around with Fiero. Bach was sitting in the distance chatting with Nessarose. Seeing the person she loves with someone else, Glinda couldn't help but feel a pang. It was even more heartbreaking when Fiyero gave his first dance to another girl. Instead of choosing someone who didn't love her and often hurt her, Bach decided to express his feelings for the person who truly loved him, Nessarose. Morrible immediately went to the dance to find Glinda. She gave Glinda a magic wand and offered to tutor and train her. Glinda was extremely surprised because she did not expect to receive that honor. But the headmistress reminded her that she didn't want to accept her at first, but Elphaba came to beg her to let Glinda join because she knew that was Glinda's great wish. Only then did Glinda understand that Elphaba was not a competitive girl. She knew how to think about others, making Glinda extremely regretful. She wanted to go back to her room to stop Elphaba from coming to the party, but she came anyway. Contrary to the initial joy, what she received in return were only mocking looks from the surrounding classmates. Elphaba took off the disgusting gift from her roommate. Her eyes filled with tears, as if she was so disappointed in everyone and everything around her. Before Elphaba could leave, Glinda was extremely regretful. Realizing how much she had hurt Elphaba, she decided to change her attitude and go dance with Elphaba. Elphaba burst into tears and forgave Glinda. Both gradually understood each other better and put themselves in the other person's position. The same event at the ballroom marked an important turning point in the relationship between the two girls, from enemies to good friends. Returning to their room after the party, Glinda and Elphaba chatted happily with each other. They talked about each other's backgrounds and everything under the sun. By the time morning came, there was still more to talk about. Glinda also wanted to do something to thank Elphaba, so she decided to change Elphaba's appearance to make her look as beautiful and radiant as she was. Glinda began to teach her friend the prerequisites to become a stylish girl with a personality that attracts everyone's attention. Thanks to a die-hard fan of Barbie dolls, Elphaba was now very confident with her new appearance. She also gained the attention of Fiyero. Today, the class started with a history lesson. Elphaba brought flowers to the professor. Dr. Dillamond told the class the sad news that he would have to retire because animals were no longer allowed to work at the facility. Only Elphaba strongly disagreed and opposed this. The guards came to restrain her and reminded her that it was an order from above that could not be changed, advising Elphaba to calmly accept reality. Mr. Dillamond's replacement was Professor Nikitic, an unscrupulous person conducting experiments with a cage that prevented talking animals and terrified a caged lion. Elphaba angrily slammed the bouquet of poppies on the table. Poppy flowers flew around, and the scent from the pollen had the effect of putting people into a deep sleep. Only Elphaba and Fiyero were free of the sleep-inducing pollen. Fiyero was a person who also loved animals very much. Taking this opportunity, he and Elphaba brought the lion back to the forest. They put the lion in a basket and cycled deep into the forest to set it free. Headmistress Morrible visited the history class and discovered all her students collapsed on their desks. Morrible then returned to her room and wrote a letter. Meanwhile, Elphaba and Fiyero brought the little lion back home safely. The two sat together and talked. At this time, Elphaba boldly confessed her feelings for Fiyero. She used to not pay attention to him, but now she liked the way he loved animals. Fiyero said nothing and quietly left, leaving Elphaba alone. She kept singing to herself, showing that she was not the beautiful girl that Fiyero loved. Hiding in the distance, watching Fiyero return to Glinda's arms, Elphaba's heart ached. Sometimes when you love someone, just silently following them is the best way for both of you. The next day, good news arrived from the Emerald City. Curious students gathered around to watch. A small green hot air balloon approached Elphaba and gave her a letter. In the letter, the Great Wizard of Oz wanted to invite Elphaba to work for him. The headmistress was very proud of her. Then a giant train came to take Elphaba to the Emerald City. Nessarose's father, the governor, also came to meet his future son-in-law. After many days of contemplation, Fiyero finally showed up to say goodbye to Elphaba. Perhaps this would be the last time they had a chance to see each other. Glinda also made a bold decision to call everyone together to announce she had changed her name from Galinda to Glinda in honor of Dr. Dillamond's original mispronunciation. Bach cheered enthusiastically. Nessarose was unhappy when she saw that Bach still had feelings for Glinda. Fiyero accidentally gave Elphaba a poppy flower, which made Glinda jealous. The two quickly reconciled and said goodbye to each other. Glinda chased after Elphaba and gave her a self-written letter. Elphaba was moved and decided to invite Glinda to follow her to the city. Crossing the vast fields of poppies on the long yellow brick road, the two reached the city. The people here were very friendly and were fashionistas with stylish tastes. The two walked around, participating in the party of the people in the city before giving the letter to the guard to enter the castle to meet the wizard. After a jubilant fireworks display, Elphaba was taken by a winged monkey to a gloomy hallway where other monkeys were kneeling in a long line waiting for orders. At the end of the hallway, they were taken to the private room of the Wizard of Oz. A giant figure appeared surrounded by scary flames, making the two girls sweat. Then the huge head retreated back behind a curtain and an older man came out. It turned out that he was the Great Wizard. He was not scary at all, but was very friendly and welcomed them both enthusiastically. The wizard also performed a few physical magic tricks that Elphaba thought were magical. The wizard took them both to see a miniature model of all of Oz. He wanted to grant each person a wish. First, for Elphaba, he gave her a doll shaped exactly like her. The wizard asked Elphaba if she wanted to change her green form. After thinking carefully, she wanted the wizard to fulfill her wish to help the animals that were gradually losing their voice in the world. The wizard immediately agreed and praised Elphaba. Suddenly, an uninvited guest appeared. Morrible visited her two outstanding students. The wizard showed everyone the sacred grimoire spellbook. No one could read it, and Elphaba wanted a challenge to prove her abilities to everyone. Elphaba showed her natural talent when the lost languages in the books that no one understood became clear to her. She could read every word. Morrible spoke out the wish of the leader of the guard monkeys who always wanted to have wings. The book turned to the page Elphaba was looking for, and she began to read the spell that gave the monkey wings. Unexpectedly, that spell caused the guardian monkeys to suffer in pain. They also grew fangs and became degenerated, ferocious beasts. Unable to bear the sight of the animals being torn apart in pain, Elphaba wanted to stop all of this. But she discovered that the entire troop had been enchanted with a spell that turned them into beasts that had lost their humanity. The wizard and Morrible could not hide their joy and excitement at a monkey army. Only then did Elphaba discover that they were the masterminds behind everything. She also discovered that the great wizard was simply a scammer who knew how to use tricks to deceive people and did not have any real magic. Horrified to learn the true faces of those she had treasured, Elphaba tried to flee the castle. The army of flying monkeys was now in Morrible's hands, and she ordered them to spread the news to everyone in Oz that Elphaba was the evil witch. The wizard mobilized his soldiers to chase and kill Elphaba. The two ran away from the soldiers and climbed into a hot air balloon, turning on the flame to make it fly. Before they could get out, the sharp dome of the palace slammed shut, puncturing the balloon. Elphaba and Glinda promptly escaped and ran out before the burning hot air balloon fell below. Glinda witnessed everything and followed Elphaba to the palace attic, trying to advise Elphaba to reconcile with Morrible and the wizard. Perhaps Glinda still did not understand the seriousness of this problem, so Elphaba decided to act according to her own plan without Glinda. Elphaba brought out a witch's hat, put it on her head, and used the grimoire magic book to read a spell that gave her a weapon, a flying broomstick. Soldiers also chased them to the place. Elphaba said an emotional goodbye to Glinda. Glinda supported Elphaba's decision and confirmed that their friendship would last forever. The tearful farewell had to end soon because soldiers arrived and arrested Glinda. As for Elphaba, she used her power to fly out, jump through glass doors, and escape from the city. We are not born good or bad. We are all like Elphaba, forced to make decisions based on how society treats us. After receiving a warning from Morrible, scared students evacuated the school. At her home in Munchkinland, Nessa Rose had to witness her father having a heart attack when he heard that Elphaba was an evil witch. It must be said that Wicked is a classic blockbuster movie that follows the direction of a musical, elaborately and majestically staged. With the team's hard work, the enthusiastic crew hired farmers to arrange millions of flowers to create a vast, realistic flower field. Thank you for watching the entire summary. This is part 1 of the movie. Part 2 is expected to be released on November 21, 2025. If you find it interesting, don't forget to leave a like and follow the channel to see more interesting videos.